What's up, champ? I'm Vince Delmonte of GeneExpressionTraining.com. In this video, we're going to be revisiting a popular series that I did in 2013, 2014, which was called Ask Vince, where I took your questions off of Facebook, Instagram. Actually, I didn't have an Instagram account back then, but now I do. And I'm going to give you guys short, simple, no-nonsense answers. All right. I understand that the bodybuilding, muscle building, weight loss, fat loss world is very confusing. It's very overwhelming. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of conflicting information. So I hope that this video will help give you clarity on your next step. Some of my answers will be strategic, some of them will be more tactical, and some of them will just be kind of mindset that you can take and then run with. All right, so let's get to it. First question here. Actually, before we get to the first question, I'm gonna do 20 questions because I just crossed the 220 barrier. For me, that's an achievement. I'm currently in a bulking phase. As many of you guys know, I'm following my half-pound strategy, as you can see here. This is 220 pounds on the screen. Staying pretty lean. So right now my world is muscle building. Everything I'm doing is wrapped around muscle building. So I thought this would be a fun video. Enough of the pre-ramble, let's get going. Kevin says, why is there no picture of your calves? I replied back, what are those? Why would I show you pictures of my calves if they're small? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I have made progress with my calves, and I don't know, whenever I post a picture of my calves, I don't get any thumbs up. So why would I post pictures of my calves? But I'm getting implants and I'm getting Syntho in the next couple months for my calves. So that's gonna take care of that.
Are you getting implants?
No. Off subject, has anyone ever told you that you look like Andrew Garfield, main actor in Hacksaw Ridge, appearance and character? No, no one has told me that. That is not a question. I'm not sure why I read that, but I just watched Hacksaw Ridge on the weekend. Fascinating story. I highly recommend, if you guys are looking for a good movie to watch this weekend, watch Hacksaw Ridge. Top 5 supplements and timing of taking of them. Wow, this could be a separate video. I will say whey protein. I will say citrulline malate. I will say creatine, I will say caffeine, and I will say beta-alanine. Those 5 supplements have more scientific evidence around them, and there's effective dosages that you can take for all those supplements that will make an impact on your results. And key, is there any side effects of pre-workout supplements? Only over abusing them. Caffeine is one of those things that are in most pre-workouts, and I recommend 4 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So I'm 100 kilos, so that would mean I'd take 400 milligrams before my workout. You have a tolerance with caffeine, so the more you take, the more you become receptive to it. So as long as you're not having caffeine every day of the week, you'll see good results from it. I only have caffeine on my really hard training days, and I don't have it at all on days I'm not training, which makes me constantly receptive to it and seeing a positive and not diminishing returns. Julia, do you need a protein shake after HIIT when cutting? When cutting, I prefer to stick to whole food. If you want to look solid, eat whole food. So I try and avoid shakes when I'm cutting unless it's for convenience. So you'd be better off just going home to have a whole food meal. Tony, what is the best food to eat? Food that only has 1 ingredient in it. So broccoli, how many ingredients are in broccoli? 1. Chicken, how many ingredients are in chicken? Steak, spinach, how many ingredients? 1. So the best foods to eat are foods that only have 1 ingredient. Okay, moving on to Instagram. Jackie's got a great question here. How do you think your advice for muscle building translates to women looking to build muscle and minimal fat? It's more important for females to build muscle than it is for guys, because guys already have a natural amount of muscle on their body. The reason ladies lack that shape is because they don't have muscle on their body. The reason they don't have that tight looking waist or those round full glutes or those slender sexy legs or those round shoulders that give that beautiful hourglass figures, because they're afraid of building muscle and they're searching fat burning workout when they go to Google instead of muscle building workout. And I'm not talking about gaining 20, 30 pounds, but I'm talking about gaining 2 to 3 pounds, 4 to 5 pounds of high quality muscle. All right, there's only one kind of muscle, but life-changing muscle, or however you want to market the word muscle. But you see what I'm saying? You're actually adding size to your body, and that's what's going to help you keep the fat off. So if you don't have dedicated phases to gaining muscle, you will always struggle the rest of your life to lose fat. All right, next question is from Martin. If you are only able to get to the gym once or twice a week to build muscle, what is the best method for deciding which body parts to exercise on those days? Would you still just work a couple of body parts each day, but do them less often, or would you, lots of body parts each time? Lots of body parts. You'd be doing 2 full body workouts per week. The name of the game for building muscle is frequency. So if you can only train twice a week, you have to do full body workouts. What I would recommend doing is buy my book, Living Large. You can get it from Amazon, and the first 10 weeks is dedicated to full body workouts. I'd recommend you do the volume workout and the strength workout. Use those 2 workouts and you're gonna get great results. Sarvana Kumar, are you still natural? Yes, sir, I am. I actually think that this is my unfair advantage in this really competitive fitness space. And I believe that guys that make this decision, they're not like better people, but I definitely feel like you have a long-term edge. The guys that are building their followings just from getting more ripped or getting bigger or stronger with drugs, I mean, they're really screwing themselves over long-term. Because what are you gonna do if you're not satisfied with the progress you're making? Take more drugs? Like, what you've been learning how to do is just cheat your way to the top. That's not a strategy, cheat your way to the top. So anyways, I feel that guys that stay natural have an unfair advantage long-term, and this is a long-term game for me. Tony, Vince, you need to write a book on this stuff. I've written tons of books. My actual physical book is at Amazon. I know that's not a question, but it's at Amazon. It's called Living Large. It just came out October 16th, 2016. It's my best work, and it's the smallest investment you'll ever make for the best everything. You get meal plans, a 30-week program, and you get exercise pictures so you know exactly what to do. You can take the book to the gym with you, and hundreds of guys have sent me testimonials and emails saying how much they love it. So a little shameless plug for my book since he wanted to know. Jeffrey here, how to work the side and rear delts for Boulder shoulders. Let's start with the side delts. I'm gonna give you a new exercise. You're gonna do leaning one arm dumbbell side raises, okay? So you're gonna be leaning, holding on to something here, and we're gonna be reaching. We're not gonna be thinking up, we're gonna be thinking about reaching, and you're gonna hold it for 2 seconds in the top position. All right, you're gonna do 4 sets of 10 at the start of your workout. Don't worry about the weight. I want you to focus on getting a deeper and harder contraction on each rep, all right? Don't forget those 2-second pauses, and don't bounce out of the bottom. The leaning side lateral raises is your new favorite exercise, Jeffrey. Next question from Rick. What are the best exercises for bigger arms using BFR? I'll show you. All right, so as you can see on the screen, this first exercise is prone incline dumbbell curls here. This puts your shoulders in a great position to get flexion at the elbow and the shoulder so you can really maximally contract your biceps. And then for triceps, we're gonna be doing line tricep extensions with the rope. As you can see here, this locks us down so we can get a lot of shortening at the triceps, specifically around the elbow joint here. So you'll feel a really deep contraction. Next question comes from Shane. How do you properly activate all your muscles, including your stabilizers, so you can maintain pain-free movement and to maximize your available range of motion? Shane, this is actually gonna become a product in the next couple months, and this product is gonna teach you how to create stability and how to activate and how to create contractile ability with all the major muscle groups. It's something that I'm using right now to increase all my lifts. So this is a full-blown product. I'll tease you with that. This next question from Ali, how to avoid the one side of the body that gets bigger muscles compared to the other side? In other words, how to avoid asymmetry. Asymmetry is pretty normal, and that's because our body compensates, right? This is a good thing. Compensation is a beautiful thing. If you have weaknesses, your body has to compensate. So the only way to create symmetry is to find a muscle activation techniques therapist, somebody that can find instabilities in your body so that the muscles that are overcompensating will stop overcompensating. So this goes above my pay grade, but if you can find an MAT therapist, he can start putting you back together. The reason you have asymmetries right now is a good thing. It's because something else isn't doing its job. So those other muscles have to overwork to make up for it. So you don't want, and this is the whole misdemeanor in the industry, everybody's looking for mobility, balance. Well, your body looks the way it does because of a weakness, all right? So it's protecting itself. So to try and fix that, you're not addressing the root problem, all right? So that's actually what the product that I'm creating in a couple months is also going to address. It's going to fix asymmetries. All right, next question here. This is from Zach. How can one diet or get lean without tracking macros? Very simple. Start learning the difference between intolerable and tolerable hunger. One is good and one is bad. So if you want to get lean without tracking macros, you have to be comfortable with tolerable hunger, all right? Tolerable hunger means your body's in fat burning mode. Intolerable hunger means your body is in fat storing mode. So you should feel a sense of hunger throughout the day. This is good. It means you have an optimized metabolism. And every time you experience tolerable hunger, you want to tell yourself, this is good, I'm losing fat. But when you start getting closer to intolerable hunger, that's when you have a meal. And that's roughly every 3-4 hours. People that aren't getting hungry every 3-4 hours don't have optimized metabolisms, all right? And they think that's good. That's actually not good. I just noticed my daughter's back here playing. You're being very good, Amelia, but I gotta keep cranking out my questions, so I hope you know I'm not ignoring you. She just likes watching daddy work. The next question here is, how do you stay motivated? And why do we hate leg day? Man, I could say so much on this one, but why do people hate leg day? Because they're scared. They know it's gonna hurt. They know they're venturing into uncharted territory, right? They're in a world they've never been in before. The heart's pounding, they're sucking for air, their muscles are shaking, their mind's telling them to stop. That's not comfortable. That's not fun, right? So I think that's the obvious reason why we avoid leg day. But what I will say on the flip side is that leg day can become something you look forward to, because you'll start to experience that this is when you experience breakthroughs, all right? When you track into uncharted territory and you find a sense of achievement, you'll feel bigger and better and more confident about yourself to keep moving forward. If you're not growing, you're dying, all right? There's no such thing as being in between. So if you're not pushing forward, you're actually dying. Use that as motivation to do another leg workout. What are the body's cues to increase or decrease calories? This is from Brad. I asked him back, in context to what goal? Building muscle tissue while burning fat, but not in bulk stage, if that makes sense. Not really. You got to figure out what your priority. And first, to understand the concept of priority is you have to know that it comes from the root word prior to everything else. So you can't have multiple priorities. That contradicts the word. You can only have one priority. So is your priority to build muscle or is to lose fat? Once you get clear on that, we can now see some progress. So if your priority is to build muscle, we want to gain at least ½ pound of scale weight per week. And if you're not doing that, that's your cue to increase calories. If you're trying to lose weight, then we're looking for about 0.5% to 1% of your body weight coming off the scale each week, okay? Again, this isn't taking into consideration like your individual needs in that, but as a general rule of thumb, it's a safe one to follow. You decrease calories if you're not doing that. So what we're always doing is making outcome-based decisions. Ryan Griffin, hey Vince, big fan, know you and your program since your very first No Nonsense Muscle Building. I just wanted to ask you, what is the best way to stay motivated and driven to finish your No Nonsense 2.0 program? Post your weekly progress pictures, my man, and use our private Facebook group. I think you know which one that is. Post your pics every week. Make yourself accountable to the group, right? You need other people to know that you're doing this so that if you fail, there's a pain, there's a consequence. All right, so that's my best advice, and just focus on those 6-week deadlines. That program's built around 3 6-week phases. So just really focus on those daily routines and habits that you have to implement to just take it one day at a time, all right? Don't think about 18 weeks, think about one day at a time. James Mulligan, I'm in university right now. What tips can you give me to help balance my study time, gym time? Plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Make appointments with yourself. Make appointments to go study, make appointments to go to the gym, and plan them the day before, right? So it's in your book, you visualize it, you know it's gonna happen, and you're just basically gonna make that commitment to yourself. The better you do that, the easier it'll be to make more commitments to yourself. What's your opinion on trying to mix strong lifts with bodybuilding? I think every person needs to incorporate strength phase into their training cycles. No Nonsense Muscle Building 2.0, the middle 6 weeks of the 18-week program is a strength phase, all right? So you'll always be limited by your strength when it comes to building muscle size. Now it just comes down to how long that strength cycle is and how often you do a strength cycle based on your muscle fiber type. But I definitely think it's a very important aspect of long-term goal, long-term progress, but it's not the be all and end all because these bigger lifts have more risk associated with them. So we have to ensure that we find the line and not overstep it. Michael, do you give into junk food cravings or do you fight it? Man, a bit of both. I understand that being hungry is good. So I really have a new mindset. Hunger is good if you want to lose weight. It's a sign that you're burning fat. So I actually look at my hunger as a good thing. I tell myself right now my body's burning fat. I'm making progress right now. But there's certainly times where it feels like mental warfare, and that's pretty normal. All right, another question from Darlene. I like BCAs before, during, and after my workouts. Is this beneficial to muscle recovery and building too? Yeah, BCAs definitely won't hurt you, but if you're getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, it's a bit redundant. All right, because you're already getting sufficient BCAs with that amount of protein. So if you've got the money, go for it. It won't hurt you. If it might help a bit, it's one of those things you're gonna have to assess for yourself. I find that when I'm cutting, BCAs are a must, and I find that when I'm training twice a day, which isn't very often, but when I am, BCAs also help with muscle soreness. James Matthews, he wants to know, how much does stability play a role in gaining muscle? What things do you suggest to work on to increase stability? Stability is everything, right? This whole industry right now is obsessed with mobility, right? And what I say is that mobility without stability leads to inability. So with stability, that all comes down to being able to contract muscle tissue, all right? Having contractile ability, all right? If you're not able to contract muscles, focusing on a movement is just gonna lead to compensation patterns. It's gonna lead to injuries eventually. Doing things that promote activation of a specific muscle group are so important. Activation exercises, isometrics, controlling the end ranges of a movement, holding them, not using momentum. Remember, momentum isn't a muscle. Applying the principles of mass mechanics, which is the principle of disadvantages, the principle of ownership, the principle of respect, which are all things that are taught in massmechanics.com. That's all the stuff that you need to promote stability in your body. Question from Baz, what do I think of Ben's no carbs pre-workout? So yeah, this is something I actually did for quite a while when I was working with Ben. I hired him a couple of years ago. I paid his $4,000 coaching fee, so I have experience with this. And I did notice a difference, but everything was very calculated. I was getting ready for a show and I was taking in a very specific amount of carbs every single day, all right? So I don't know if not having them before the workout was making that much of a difference. It's definitely something you have to kind of like do an A/B split test with. What I find most people respond best to is just hitting their total carb goal each day consistently. It's like putting gas in the tank. It doesn't matter when you put the gas in, whether you put the gas in the morning or in the afternoon or at night. When the tank is full, the tank is full. That's how your glycogen stores are. So as long as your carb stores are replenished after your workout, before your next workout, you're fine. Roger, how important do you think it is to cycle calories, macros when bulking? I think the only thing you need to manage when bulking is maybe reducing carbs a bit on non-training days. But overall, if you want to build the house, you have to provide the materials consistently, and getting too creative with like fluctuating stuff, I honestly feel it's just an illusion of control. Flying in Shape wants to know, what's your opinion on intermittent fasting for both weight gain and weight loss? For weight gain, it's a horrible idea, and for weight loss, it's even a worse idea. Short term, it works. Long term, I think it's a disaster. And if you read the comments from a video I uploaded, why I avoid intermittent fasting, a lot of people were not a fan of that video, but that's fine. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I think it's a sledgehammer approach to weight loss when all you need is a fly swatter. All right, I don't believe in extremes. All right, I believe they're doing things that you can do for the long term. I will acknowledge it can be a stepping stone to getting to your goal, but I don't know anybody who wants to restrict food the rest of their life to just a certain window of time. To me, it makes no sense. You're denying the environment we live in 2017. And to me, that's just delusional. And you're gonna set yourself up with some challenges down the road. I'm all about, let's lose the weight once and not have to fix problems that we created along the way. And I think that intermittent fasting screws with your appetite, it screws with your metabolism, it doesn't optimize muscle mass, and everything you do if you want to lose weight permanently should be revolved around optimizing muscle mass. Intermittent fasting does not optimize muscle mass, so for that reason, I'm not a fan. If you want to get the whole video, it's on YouTube. And yes, I know a lot of people are just did not like that answer, but that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything, right? That's where I stand. We do like 2-3 more questions. Kafdel says, first of all, thanks for the education and truth you provide to the fitness community. It's a pleasure learning from you from Arizona. My biggest issue during my bulk is overcoming thoughts that I will put on too much weight and get in the habit of only being in bulk mode forever. All right, so this is normal. This is definitely something I can relate to. You get too comfortable gaining weight and now you have to put some restrictions on. And again, there will be a resistance to going back in the opposite direction when that time comes. But I would just tell you, stick to my half-pound strategy. Focus on gaining half a pound of scale weight, not half a pound of muscle, half a pound of scale weight each week. And as long as you're averaging half a pound per week, you'll minimize the amount of fat you gain. Remember, bulking doesn't get you fat. Bulking causes you to gain fat. There's a big difference. And if you're applying the half-pound strategy, if you're managing your nutrition around just a half a pound per week, I mean, I'm 220 right now, and you guys can see from this picture that I'm not like shredded, or not, I wouldn't even say I'm ripped, but I'm definitely not fat. So this works, but you have to be prepared to put in the time. All right, and you will be grateful for doing this the right way because you actually have muscle on your body when it comes to go to your stabilization mode and then to your cutting mode. JTR says, Vince, you look great, bud. So bulking means heavy weight, less reps more often? No, not necessarily. It really depends on your muscle fiber type. So some guys will make better gains with lighter weights, shorter rest periods if you're more slow twitch in nature. Guys who are more fast twitch in nature will do better building muscle with heavier weights, longer rest periods. So it really depends on your muscle fiber type. And if you haven't done my 30-second muscle fiber type quiz, go to geneexpressiontraining.com. geneexpressiontraining.com. I'll put a link on the screen here, and that will tell you what your muscle fiber type is because your workout needs to be customized to how you're built, right? That way you can start working with your body, not just on your body. And this is the big thing, right? My strength phases look very different because I'm slow twitch than somebody who's fast twitch. And that's just because these numbers are arbitrary, right? So until you start working with your muscle fiber type, you're never gonna get the best workout and you're never gonna see the fastest results. So if you haven't taken my quiz, do that right now, geneexpressiontraining.com. And I think that's a great place to wrap up, guys. Thank you for your questions. If you guys enjoyed that, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy the Q&A fashion, if you want me to revive it and maybe do a little more, let me know. Were my answers too long? Were they too short? I need your feedback, guys. Two-way communication here, man. I'm listening. That's what the comment section is for. Be sure to share this video, like it up, comment below, and we'll go from there. See you guys next time.